Happy Friday, everyone. Hi, Luminaires. How is everybody doing today? I hope you are well and happy that it's Friday. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I am on a new device, so please use your fingers. Let me know in the chat thread. Thank you. It's good to have everybody here. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Marta, Kiara. Hi, Amora. Welcome to Lumi Centered. I'm so happy. And is it Samantha or Samatha? Thank you so much for joining Lumilight. Welcome to the YouTube membership. I'm so happy to have you here on YouTube. I do have a membership program. It has 3 separate tiers, and we offer throughout the service some exclusive chats where it's only you who are accessing our chat thread. So you kind of have that priority communication. And then we also do classes such as our vision board or action board that we did at the end of 2022. We'll be revisiting that the next, I guess, once a season for this year. And then I also put out meditations. We're going to be doing healings this year that you'll have access to, as well as book club. I love my book club. Oh my gosh, I just have my book. The next book we're diving into, I'm so good and organized. It's probably behind my computer, is no goodness. Oh, good. Here, look. Not like I needed a prop, but I like to have a good prop. The Four Agreements. If you've ever read it and you really liked it and you wanted to read it again, but talk to a bunch of spiritually and like-minded people about it and dive into the meat of it and figure out how to take it into your everyday life, join book club. It's so awesome. We do it over on Learn It Live so that we have the ability to see each other and talk to each other. So it's not just a one-sided presentation. And if our author is passed away, we invite them into the book club and listen to their insights and what they learned as they were writing the book and what did they learn after they transitioned and crossed over. Hi, Amy. Oh, Judy, lovely Lumies. Yes, the book club is amazing. And then we also do classes that reach beyond the energy update. So you get the energy update, but if you're a YouTube member, you can then come to the class where Maitland comes in and talks to you about the deeper meaning behind the crystals and the frequencies and how to grid your bed. It's really amazing, detailed to like almost too much. And then we do Q&A where I'm trans channeling and you can ask questions directly to spirit, which leads us to the topic we're talking about today. What in the world is trans channeling? Carrie, you should join us. Kevin, the healing medium. Love your tag, love your name. Oh my God, the Four Agreements is a fave. Revisit it all the time. I know, isn't it great? I haven't read it in, gosh, probably 10 years. So I'm pretty excited to get back to it. Kiara's reminding us that how much we love the Spirit's update, like from the author about the book. It's incredible. Hi, Elizabeth. So what is channeling? It's a lot of what I do here on YouTube. It's a lot of what I do in my career. It's when I allow spirits to come into my body to directly communicate to you. Now, that's not the only kind of channeling that there is out there in the world. So we're going to talk about different types. And as you're here and listening, if you're with me live, please, if you have questions about channeling, what it is, what it looks like, how you achieve it, things of that nature, please put your fingers to the keyboard and type those questions up. I'll be keeping my eye on it. Hi, guys. So trans channeling is something that I do and I have been doing since the age of 21. I remember coming across channeling as a kind of a medium or a way to communicate to spirit. Now, since I was little, which is a lot of your story too, so you might hear yourself in this, is, being little, I had access to spirit. I could see them, I could talk to them. It was part of my world. Then as I grew up, I stepped away from it, and then I came back into it. That's just a whole story. If you want to know more, you can read my book. with Love and Light is the title of my book. But when I got back into it, I joined a spiritual group, much of like what I do on Learn It Live when I'm teaching, much of like the series that I teach. And the series that I'm teaching next, I'm teaching two of them. One is approaching trance channeling, which you're going to be learning how to communicate to spirit, get the messages from spirit. And then I'm teaching another one at the same time, which is perceiving and reading energy. And that is connecting to subtle light energy and getting the information from subtle light energy, but not getting it from spirit per se. So those are the differences in the classes. And when I was in my class with my teacher, Marguerite Romez, hi Marguerite, she one day, she could trance channel, she could let spirit into her body, and I remember thinking that was, "Whoa, whacked," and I was very uncomfortable with it, but that woman did it. She was probably in her early 60s. She had a metal plate on her hip, which meant that she couldn't fold her legs up in the tailor position, crisscross applesauce, because this hip joint, I'm pretending my shoulder is a hip, couldn't turn and move her leg in that direction. And she would channel the spirit called Maitland. And that woman would fold her legs up when she was channeling Maitland. And she would sing songs. Oh, how much is that doggy in the window? Just on and on, just on and on. And she would give us all kinds of information. Now, my heart would race and I would feel almost out of body as I'm next to my teacher as she's doing all of this. And she'd come back and we'd be like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I feel fine." And we would tell her what she's doing. She even went and got her x-ray that showed that she had a metal plate screwed into her bones that blocks her ability to rotate her leg. And we're like, "Oh, we totally believe you, but this is what spirit's doing." So it fascinated me, but I never thought that I would grow up and do something like this. Luminaire Amy is asking, what kind of channeling do you prefer? So even though I never imagined myself trans channeling, I prefer the full incorporation trance channeling. That's what my teacher was doing. And one day my teacher goes, "All right, Jamie, you're going to sit in the middle." There was a group of about 20 people. We met every week on a Tuesday, which, if you're joining me for any of my series, we meet weekly. We have time to teach and then we have time to talk and share and just be like, "What in the crazy? Like, how is this happening?" And try to assimilate the information. Then she put me in the middle and she was like, "This is what you're going to do. You're going to give messages to everybody and you're going to trans channel." I was like, "No, no, 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 I'm fine." She walked me through, and it's the same steps that I'm going to teach you if you join class. She walked me through my auric layers, my energy frequencies, got me into a deep, relaxed state of mind, and put me into trance. So it's almost like a merge of hypnosis techniques and meditative techniques that come together and can help you fall into an altered state of consciousness, which we'll talk about those different types. And I wrestled with my ability of letting spirit into my body. I don't give away my body freely. And that's something that you have to get used to. And one day I remember falling asleep and I came back to, and everybody was looking at me and I was looking at everybody and they were saying thank you. Some of them were crying. I'm looking at my teacher and she was like, "You gave a message to every single person in the room." And I go, "I don't remember that. All I remember is freaking out, my heart racing, seeing the backside of my head, not knowing what's going on, and then all of a sudden breathing, going and looking around the room," which to me felt like just like 5 minutes or so. But it was about an hour and a half later. So, Amy, I would have to say full incorporation trance channeling is my favorite because I get to go to sleep. That's what it feels like for me. If you're practicing this, you might feel it a little bit differently. But I think that's why we need to start talking about this. This kind of communication to spirit is not abnormal. To me, in my world, and the different types I'm about to talk about of channeling is very, very normal. We have just lost our way and really saying what we are doing, and we call it strange things like imagination. I was just imagining this. It just came to me. It was like an aha moment. It was a little bit of coincidence, a little bit of luck. We start putting words on it that don't really align with exactly what you are doing. So with that, I'll give a shout out a few like, hi ZP, hi Sheldon, hi Nancy. It's so good to see everybody here. This is our tribe, this is our community. I really appreciate it. So we have Kiara says, and when Jamie says steps, she really means it. It's done step by step, so it's not overwhelming for a student. In class, in class, the way I like to teach is through humor and through experience. I want you to be in control. I want you to do your work the way that it's best for you. I don't want to make another me. So I'm not going to teach you just the ways that I do it. I will teach you many different approaches so that you can pick the one that's easiest for you. When it comes time to communicate with spirit, that is subtle energy. And subtle energy is named that for a reason because if you start coming at it with like big, strong belief systems or techniques or aggressive, or if you try too hard, it just chokes the subtle energy out. And then you're left there going, what am I doing wrong? I thought I did everything right. I just don't understand. And then we start to spiral. So we have to get all of that in alignment so that you can stick it and be very clear as a channel. Lee Bevan is sharing, I get so excited when I hear, as clear as a bell, a message. I assume that's not channeling, however. Is that the first phase to channeling? That to me, Lee, is a psychic or intuitive ability. That is part of your sensitivities, hearing. So we call that clairvoyant. It is part of trance channeling because it can be, I would say, baseline. Let's talk about the types, and then we'll talk about what trance state really is. But the types, I would say the first level, there's not really names for this out there. I mean, trance only came into our vocabulary through Charles Tart in 1969, right? So we're not really new with the terminology or the labels, even though channeling has been with us since the beginning of time. And there's probably no beginning of time because time is not linear, but you get my point. So I would say the first tier in channeling is what I call auctioneer. So it's so close to what you're saying, Lee, but you hear it and you say it. It happens so fast. You're still you, you're in your body, you're behind your eyes, you know your name, you have your thoughts, you have your feelings, you're in control. But all of a sudden you hear it, before you can think about it, before you can, analyze it and assess it, whoom, pop, it pops out your mouth and you go, huh, you're talking, and then your inner thoughts, it's yours, it's not somebody else's, chimes in and is like, oh my gosh, Lee, this is so cool. Like you're learning from what you're saying and you think it's really beautiful. And you're like, oh my God, I need to get pen and paper. I've got to start writing this stuff down. It's so good. Auctioneer. And I would say the step up from that is like an automatic writing where you are allowing spirit. So when it's an auctioneer, spirit is more like a little feeder fish on a shark. They're just right up on your skin. They're right up in the closest layer in your auric fields, and that relates to your physical body. And they are pushing their message through in energy, and it's just tunneling right through without your thought altering it, right? It's still clear as it when it came in. Then with automatic writing, spirit merges a bit into the arm. And for some of you, when you do automatic writing, you can feel them in your back. Sometimes you feel them on the side of your head, sometimes in your head, and your hand is just going. Some of you only feel it in the hand. Some of you feel it as a dullness in you, and you just get really calm and you just know exactly what to write. But that automatic writing is where you're allowing spirit to get a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit in. Then I would say the next phase of that would be letting a spirit into your body a little bit more And since there's not really names for it, I call it shared space. That's where spirit is inside of you and you are also inside of you, but you have a different perspective of where you are in your body. You're not behind your eyes, but maybe you're down in your throat looking up. Some of you might feel like you're down in your chest or that you're really, really small and you're in your belly somehow, like between your hips. You're inside somewhere. You might not recognize like hip bones, leg bones, stuff like that, but you feel very remote and small, but you're quite present. You know that your jaw is moving. You know that your hand is moving. You know what thoughts are coming into you. You're having thoughts about what thoughts are coming into you, but something else is coordinating the speech and the movement and kind of like the breath work, and you're very present. But you've learned not to interfere. So it's a healthy, like roommate situation. Then I would say the next phase of that is full incorporation, which is what I do with my guides, Maitland, Grace, and the greater team that we have, where I'm here and I know I'm willingly going to step away. And in class, that is the last lesson in approaching trans channeling. To me, I make it the goal because every step leads to that. But you can stop anywhere that you would like, not in your learning. I'd like for you to do the whole thing. But at the end, it's not that if you don't achieve trans channeling full incorporation, you've failed. It's not like that. You might find that you're very talented at the auctioneer. You're very talented at automatic writing. You're very talented with shared space. A lot of the trans channelers out there today do a shared space. They're still present. And that means when you come back, you're aware of what's being said. How nice is that? You know what's happening. You're learning at the same time. But full incorporation is more of a, to me, it feels like a deep sleep. Some of you are asking, what does it feel like? It feels like that moment when you are in bed and you're tired, you're really exhausted, and all of a sudden you get the awareness of, I'm about to fall asleep. And you can't even have another thought after that because it's happening. And you feel that, whoa, and your body just lets go into it. Let's go into it. Let's go into that phase. That feeling right there is what it's like for me to trance channel. I feel it in my chest. I start to yawn like I'm tired. And then I fall out of my body is how it feels like, but it's almost a back and up feeling. And I trust my team. I'm not around. I don't remember things. Sometimes I remember bits afterwards. Like the other day, I was at home and Maitland, a spirit guide that I channel, that I full trance channel, was talking to me about squirrels. Don't you remember? And I was like, oh, I have a vague memory of you talking about squirrels. I do now because I was prompted and I can recall some of it, but it's a little bit more difficult because my consciousness wasn't available at that time when the information was coming in. Lee says, that's making sense. I've experienced observing myself saying amazing things, and I have a knowing that it's another part of me. Full incorporation would be good to experience, I think. She goes, thank you. You're so welcome. I think it would be great. Kiara shares that she's mostly in the shared space, but not always remembering everything. But she does remember the feelings mostly, but not necessarily the words. Paulette, great question. Is everybody able to trance channel? My answer from my experience in the last 30, almost 33 years of teaching is yes. So most of the time when people hear that, they're like, well, I don't think I can. It's like crazy. But the way that I break it down and the way that you actually pick up on information from spirit is so secondhand, but we have mislabeled it for so long. So through the series, we unwind our belief systems. We look at what we've been taught to believe, what we've been indoctrinated for, and unravel. We unravel it and we pack it up the way that's in alignment with you and your natural abilities. Because I find that we're all born with a sixth sense, the ability to use our traditional five senses in a heightened way. So if we look at trance, like what is trance? Trance in and of itself is an altered state of consciousness. That's the bottom line. We can look at it in a scientific way, which I love talking about, and I do this in the class as well. And we look at brain waves. Now we have distinct brainwave patterns. Gamma is the highest, most active brainwave state that you have. And this is like for those ultimate athletes, when they're on the starting line and the gun is about to go and time moves extremely slow as they're just booking it and running. Or gamma is when you get into a car accident and you're very alert. You see it happening, you're like, oh my God, it's happening. But you had all the time in the world to zip your purse, straighten your seatbelt, sit up straight, and relax and get prepared for the car accident that's about to happen that moves like this. That's gamma. I know it's very interesting. Then we have beta waves, and beta is what you're doing right now with me. We're alert, wake state, it's buzzing. This is what happens when you get into anxiety. Your stressors keep you in a beta. Your voice is running very high. You're thinking about many things. You're thinking about the next thing and the thing that you did yesterday, and was it good enough? I don't know. And so you're caught in this beta brainwave. Drink. Then we have alpha. I like alpha. That's your daydream. That's a thing where you did as a kid, and your mom was like, "Hello, are you listening to me?" And you look at her like, "Yeah," smiling. You were an alpha. That's very relaxed, passive attention. You're still tapped in. Like, I know where everybody is and I know what's happening, but I have this moment to daydream. It is such a powerful place. We use that as part of homework, and you get homework every week so that you have an exercise to physically practice to help you learn the lesson that's been given to you. And alpha state is a huge one to practice getting into and out of. Then right beneath alpha, we have theta. So when we talk about brain waves, it's pretty much the measurement of the neurosignals in your brain. Like how much are you putting out? And when you're putting out bulk amount of information and everything is lighting up in the brain, it's higher your brainwave activity. Then as we go lower and lower, there's less signals being put out. So you can imagine theta. This is like your very deeply relaxed state. If you've ever done a float tank, anybody out there? Float tank, theta. You're semi aware, but here you can start getting into that deep inward focus, deep meditation. Here you might start experiencing some of the body dysmorphia, like your elbows can be bent backwards or your tongue feels very big and thick and fat and you can't speak, or your jaw is locked down, or that you have an image of your body, but it's not from where your eyes are. It's like up and over here or up out here, and you're looking at yourself. This is a little bit of theta fun. So your brain is just like turning off, slowing down, slowing down, slow down till it gets to delta. Delta is that sleep, but it's that dreamless sleep. It is like, ooh, I don't even know how to say it. It's like watching something hit the very bottom of the ocean and it hits the sand and the sand puffs up and you're out. So our brain waves are what we use to measure our altered states of consciousness, because there are moments, you can't really have one brainwave activity share the limelight with another one. It's kind of like they're in a line, in a row, and only one can be in the lead. You can be in beta or you can be in theta, but you can't be in beta and theta. But in trance states, we're in this slow functioning brain where fewer signals are being sent out, but you have awareness. Now, commonly, when fewer signals are being sent out, you have less and less awareness of your environment, more internal awareness, and then less internal awareness to a nothingness, a dreamless sleep. So when you're in trance and you've learned how to get yourself in and out of trance, that's when you can find these sweet spots where you're comfortable and what your boundaries are to allowing spirit to come in and give you messages that you can deliver or share space with share space with them so that you can then have them deliver the message outwardly. It's a perfect sound for the Delta visual. Yes! Thank you so much. SE 3 years. It's serious, but it's really nice that you wrote it that way. And Tiffany, big hugs to you. Thank you so much for the financial love and support. I am so grateful for that. I enjoy being here for all of you, and just having new presence is wonderful. And this is just great. Thanks for being you. Joseph is saying, have you ever had your brain waves monitored during a trance channeling session? It would be very interesting. Quick shout out to Lexi. It's good to see you here again. I have had my brain waves measured. I've had them measured twice in my awake state, and I've had them measured in deep meditation and trance channeling a handful of times. I've actually worked with the Noetic Science Center out in San Francisco, who has one of the first trance channeling studies done with the act of using electroencephalogram. Oh no, my connection is unstable. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. My connection was unstable. Yes, I have been measured. And Athletic Science Center over in San Fran, you can look them up online. They have a wonderful department. And they did a trance channeling study. And so I was a part of that study. It is published, and in that article as a trans channeler. But what I found out about myself was something extremely strange. Is that when I am in my awake state, my brain wave does not function in beta. So when I'm sitting here talking to you, I am not into a deep meditation. I was like, no problem. So I went into a deep meditation. Connection unstable. Okay. Trying to work with that internet here. I got it fixed the other day, but it looks like it is sketching out on me. So it looks like when I go into deep meditative state, I go into beta. I'm very active. And when I'm in conscious awake state, I'm more in an alpha. I'm more in a soft dream state. So it's a little bit different. Lillian, how often do you run this class? I'd love to join and take the class as soon as I sort out my finances. I usually teach it twice a year. It is 16 weeks long. We do have a coupon for this series. It is a 10% off if you want to join. And no sound? Why? Why, Spirit? Can you hear me now? It is. Monty, I agree with you. This retrograde. Rah! Okay, we have sound. We are back. There is a 10% coupon, JBM 2023, that you can use to at least get some of that financial ease off of it. Um, I appreciate you guys. It is. You are kidding. I just feel like we need to pause and breathe and maybe move this through. Stop. It was like 3 minutes gone. Can we hear each other now? It just keeps buffering. Well, because I would love to talk about, no, it doesn't say anything on my side. It doesn't say anything on my side. Okay, I'm good now. We're gonna run with it while you have you. Sending good vibes. Thank you, Lillian. This is so strange. It can be quite frustrating too. But if you do want to join, definitely use the 10% off coupon. I'll put the link in again if you just want to see all the topics. Like, go there and check it out. I lay it out really nice and easy. And for those of you who like a good handout, I always make sure that each of my classes have a very organized and thorough handout. So you end up carrying, you leave with a stack of handouts, that is, if you choose to print them out. So that helps. Erica, when you go into trance channeling, do your human filters or distortions not affect the message? They very much can, Erica. It's a sharp question on your end. That's why during the 16-week series, we practice actively to be neutral, to not engage with what's being said or not to react to the message that you're hearing. And it is a practice. And some of us can do it with ease. I have some students and they're like, oh, no problem. I do this all the time. I'm like, ha, I don't. I still sometimes react, even when I'm in readings with people on the phone and I'm listening to spirit and translating almost in an auctioneer, but I'm very present. And all of a sudden I hear something and I go, oh, what? And I'm like, I got to write that down. I got to research that. I got to learn that for myself, but it's your best when you can pull away from it and not react. So we do learn how to do that. Elizabeth will be offering the second class probably in early fall to be finished up in November by, all the holidays. As in June, I'll be out in Bali, which I do believe we have 3 seats left at our Bali retreat. If you are interested in studying especially the 10 layers of your auric field through Kundalini practice and hang out with me for 9 days in Bali, come join. I also have the spiritual tourism where we don't have any classes. We just have a blast together with like-minded people exploring what Bali has to offer. So Sherelle says, can I ask, can channeling change a person's life? How can I apply this in my daily life? Please and thank you. Yes, it does change your outlook in life. For me, I think I can only speak for myself, honestly, is that knowing that I have access to what spirit can deliver message-wise to inform. Number one is I know I'm not alone. I have conversation all the time. I have access to something, which almost calms my nerves in a way where I don't even ask for the information because I know I'm okay. So I'm more confident. I'm more settled in my day-to-day life, my humanness. I have more peace, more harmony. But that was my reaction to it. Maybe we could reach out to a few of the luminaires who've been through the course if you want to share what you felt, how it changed your life, and how you used it in your day-to-day life. That would be wonderful. And Michelle is asking Montemare, question, will we have lifetime access to the course? Absolutely. Once you buy your course, it's recorded. I teach it live, so we interact. If you can't be there live, you can watch the recording and you can submit questions. And then I get those questions and I answer them in the live recording next week, the following week, so that you then have your answers in a live stream and you have it in your class material as well. And then you can go back to it for as long as you have your Learn It Live account, which costs $0 to get a Learn It Live account. It is just a platform, it's an educational platform, and you can purchase classes from other healers and teachers and educators, and it all ends up in your library, which I adore. What I like about Learn It Live is that you can be on video with me. I like it that you can talk to me or you can type to me. Like, we have an engagement factor, whereas YouTube, I can't see you. I can only read your comments. And for intimate materials such as learning about subtle light energy or learning about your trance state, your belief systems, how to protect yourself, how to decipher between a message or an internal thought, how to know if you're getting in the way of things or if you're being neutral. I want to see your face and I want to talk to you about it if you're having a difficult time, putting all of that together. Ask Colleen to check out the noise filtering on your microphone. My bookkeeper is here today, so she is on my computer, and this is a very old computer, so I'm certain it is struggling with what I am doing with it today. Thank you for that. And I apologize that you can hear that so loudly. Katie, the big thing I learned during the course is how much we're all channeling every day. Yes, already without even knowing it. Yes. Lexi's taken the course. It's an amazing learning opportunity for any level of learner. I'm a shy learner, and Jamie creates fun, safe space to be vulnerable and courageous. Thank you, Lexi. It was really nice. Like my heart. Susan, hello, Jamie. Huge fan here. Watched you since channeling Eric, and I have to thank you because you helped the start of my journey of enlightenment. Just gonna put tears in my eyes. Susan, thank you. I'm so happy that you were brave enough to take the steps to do it. I mean, I almost wonder what what we would be like if we didn't step forward. Not I don't know if I'm even saying it right. I can't imagine who I would be if I agreed with my culture and turned this off, or even agreed with my parents, my mom, and turned it off and not came back to it. So it's time, not just for myself, but I think it's time our culture is opening up to it. Our society is giving more space for this kind of work. And I think if we're looking at globally, our frequencies, our energy is increasing. And it's increasing in a way that what we are currently doing with it is clashing. Our 9 to 5s are clashing with our energy. Our climb to only success and gain money is clashing with our high frequency energy. We're looking and yearning for something else. And to me, spirituality and communicating with subtle light energy is that something else. So it's so nice to have that available. Hi, Tammy. Tammy Miller, hugging you. I heard my name in a very solid man's voice that woke me. Um, I have that from time to time as someone trying to tell me something. Oh my God, your name being called, it's odd. It doesn't always mean that a message needs to be delivered. It can simply, as my guides have been saying for a long time, it can simply be they just want the acknowledgement that they're there. That is a complete set of need. I want to be seen. I want to be said hello to. I want you to know that I'm here. I don't have anything to give you. I just want you to know that I'm here. So they'll often use our name and call our name and keep us present with them. So, how do we know if we're in alignment with channeling spirit? Like, you listen to this and you're like, yeah, I want that. But it might feel like it's a goal for, crawling a marathon. That's a hard thing to even do on 2 feet. So, congratulations for anybody out there running marathons. And we look at this and we go, I want that, but it just seems too far away. So, I'll say this. Are you someone who is emotionally sensitive? No, it's not a trick question. It's not meant to trigger you either. Are you sensitive to how you feel? Do you guard it? Like, oh, I don't want anybody to know. So I'm going to hide it. I'm going to look stoic, but on the inside, I've got so much emotion and I just can't. Are you someone who can watch a commercial about tires and babies and just bawl? Just cry about it? And those babies sitting in the tire, it's just amazing. Mm. Or watch a kitten rescue video on YouTube and be affected for the rest of your day. Or have a dream that you feel was very real and it impacted who you are for the rest of your day. Is that you? If you're doing that, then you're sensitive to energy. And if you're sensitive to energy, this kind of approaching trance channeling and learning how to control more of your mindfulness, your emotional intelligence, your body awareness, it's for you. Are you hearing spirit? Do you hear your name being called? Do you get goosebumps for no reason? Do you sit somewhere like a restaurant or you're walking in the park and you're like, somebody's staring at me and you can feel it? And you turn around and somebody's staring at you and you're like, oh my God, that person is staring. That this class is for you. because you're picking up using your auric field, using your psychic talent or your intuitive abilities, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairgustance, your clairolfactory, your clair. We have so many clairs. What did I miss? Sentient ability. All of this voyant, audient, cognizant, sentient, gustance, and olfactory. There we go. If you're doing that, this class is for you because it's going to teach you more about how you work and how you get those messages from other entities. Unica, you're here. You experienced the same thing many years ago during a meditation. A deep voice said my name. It was a bit scary. It's crazy how clear they can be, right? It still catches me. Sometimes I come in and I hear my voice and I just stop because I know I'm alone, but I have to do that human thing. Has somebody broken into my house? Um, is somebody here that I forgot was supposed to be here? And I go, hello? And usually it's crickets after that. And I'm like, okay, but I still do the human thing. And I go through every room and I open closets and I look under the bed. You would think after a lifetime of this, I'd be like, old hat, walking on. But no, it's so real. And you've experienced it. It's so real that you're like, so I give it huge props and respect. Mark says sometimes it's hard to be yourself when, for example, one spouse says these spiritual experiences are a dangerous door for the Christian version of a devil. Oh, goodness, yes. Mark, that reminds me of my friend Mark Party, who invited me to speak at his anthropology class. Long story short, I'm there, and I live in the Bible Belt here in the South. And the Bible Belt a, has a deep seated belief system and a Baptist belief system in Christianity. And the devil, the cult, in communicating to spirits or to those who are disembodied is definitely of the devil's work. So I have had, and I was raised Baptist, just to let you know. And I think at age 6, I walked out of the church. I was uninvited, actually, from Sunday school because I asked way too many questions and I didn't believe. And I was escorted out of the big church service because of my attitude, because I would always say, that's not right. That's not right. Like the preacher would say something and I go, that's not right. God, I just want to hug my parents. Thank you for being so patient with me. Or, anyways, so yes, the devil's work. So now we're dealing in belief systems, Mark. And the way that I teach to you that you can put it into your belief system. So if you are Christian, if you're Catholic, if you're Unitarian, if you're Jewish, if you're a spiritualist, if you're atheist, if you're Hindu, if you have a Buddhist lifestyle, if you follow the Quran, whatever it is, I'm so happy that you have a belief system that you love and it fits you, and I'm going to encourage you to keep it. I don't want to strip you of something that works for you, but it's my job as a teacher to help you find ways to put in your spirituality or your communication to the beyond, to God source, to all that is, to deceased family members and friends, anything of that nature within your belief system. And most of the time, like I have a class, I'll read from the Christian Bible. I point back there, my Bible is somewhere back there, that talks all about how the human can still communicate, talks all about clairvoyance and clairaudience, and all the clairs are in there. And it also talks about transchanneling. So it's in our past. So when we have a spouse who is very much into that path and maybe you stepped away from it, I like to present details of how a belief system can kind of warp. But we have class, I spend a whole class on vocabulary. How do you talk about what you do? And how are you confident in it and not afraid to share what you do? That's huge. I want you to leave being able to share who you are. Because I think we have so many classes, not many of them, but we have really good classes out there about the technique and the talent, but then it fails to help support you when you have to go home and you have to talk to your family members and your friends. You don't have to, but I'm certain that you probably love to because they're important people to you and you want them to support you. So we do go over that mark in helping you integrate into your environment. Jessica's like, I have a friend from a small town, Georgia, who created a queer tarot deck, fifth season tarot, and it now sells in bookshops in that small town. That's so awesome. Yes, we are growing in frequency, aren't we? Thank you, Kiara. If you like these kinds of talks and shares and you feel like you're learning, please press the like button, share with a friend. So now that you know what trance channeling or trance state is, that it's an altered state of consciousness with an awareness to it, a very unique kind of awareness that you can then apply to receiving messages from subtle light energy or beings that are in subtle light energy. And this even goes towards multidimensional beings that don't necessarily resonate within our dimensional states. We get into that as well in the series. Again, if you want to see the full topic, I break everything down on the website and the link that I just gave you. You can just read exactly what's being taught. I like to share a lot of information because then it's in hopes that you learn more than maybe what you were expecting to. So that when somebody has a conversation with you, you go, yeah, but this is how, or this is why, and this is how I'm feeling. Because if we just talk about, I don't know, how to do it, and then somebody asks you how you feel about it or how you're attached to it, like if you haven't processed that in your work, you might feel like you're hanging out to dry and you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to leave you hanging. Elsie, oh my gosh. Thank you. Jamie is the best. Don't hesitate to go learn with her. She was so important on my spiritual journey. We're lucky to have her. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Sacred Moon, can I still join the book club too? Yes, if you are a YouTube member, it can be bottom tier. Book club is for everybody. And then you get a monthly meditation or healing. And that's low tier. It's $4.99. I love the book club. So now that we know what trance is, we know the style of channeling, we know how to identify if we ourselves are in alignment to that. Like if that goal is something you're interested in and you're sensitive to energy. Wow, my bookkeeper sneeze just scared the crap out of me. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. If you have identified that you are a sensitive being, this class can work for you. Now, I think we were going to talk about one more thing before I close it up. Let's see. Jamie, in the future, we offer a course on NVC through Learn It Live on Demand. Katie, I would love to. I was just looking at my compassionate communication course. It's 6 weeks long. I could honestly make it 16 weeks. It's just beautiful. And it's the same kind of communication skills that you would use with spirit. And it's also very nice to have that when you're setting your boundaries and building relationships with spirit so that you can channel. Yes, I will be putting it up. I was hoping to have it out maybe at the end of February or March so that it would wrap up before June time when it's time to head to Bali because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Amy loves Louie. Welcome to Lumi Centered. Thank you so much for joining us here on the YouTube membership. I'm excited. Oh my God, I love your picture. I am a kitty cat fan. And of course, throw some ferrets in there too. I'll be happy as I'll get out. Patricia, you used to scare your dogs with your sneeze too. So there was one other question that I had is how do you tell the difference of your channeling ability or your imagination? Oh, Mark, here comes my crazy computer. It's about to rev up again. So Please excuse the humming. I'm making do today with my live stream. But how do you tell the difference? We have several classes dedicated to this because it takes a little while to unravel your imposter syndrome and your Debbie Downer or doubter that likes to rise up and say, oh God, you're not able to do this. This is crazy. This is nuts. This is whatever labels have been put on it by your environment or whatever you chose to believe in. And it all comes down to building self-trust. And that is something that we will absolutely be doing. I wish I knew how to turn the fan off. It might make this the end of our conversation today. Yay! Okay. I was going back to see if there was anything else. Tiffany did the same thing that I did when I was little and in church, and she would tell the nuns that the nuns were wrong, and then she would get in trouble too. See, I told you, like a lot of my story growing up, I used to think that I was so ostracized and different, and my God, there's so many of us. It is so extremely comforting to hear you guys speak up and talk about your experiences that way, because it just heals a little bit of my childhood as well. Oh, you guys are sharing your experiences. Bonti, welcome to Lumalight. I can't wait to have you in book club. It's over on the Learn It Live format. You'll get notifications galore on our community chat thread right here on YouTube. So you'll know exactly where to go. And H. Kaiser, yay, Luby Centered. I hope you also make it to book club, but this also means that we'll gather for our Q&As each month, and you can ask your questions to Spirit. Susan, do you still talk to Eric? Is he still involved in what you do? Eric shows up from time to time. It's not a daily haunt anymore, but I see him maybe once a month. He comes by and we'll chat. He loves helping his people. So if he's already been with you or he feels like he can help you, he's there. I mean, that kid is solid. I appreciate him. Okay, now that the computer is blowing up, I think we should pull back and just relish that we've had a wonderful time together. I certainly appreciate you. If you are interested in learning how to unravel your abilities and wanting to communicate to spirit in whatever level, that is the Approaching Trance Channeling. That is where you will find it. It's over on Learn It Live. I put the link in the chat thread. If you're interested in learning about how to communicate or just pull information from the energy itself, not necessarily from spirit, you can join me for my Perceiving and Reading Energy class, and that has the same coupon code. Use the coupon JBM 2023 for 10% off. I'm kind of tight today. That goes for both of them. You can get 10% off of both of them. And I really hope to see you in class. I'm excited about this year. I'll be out here more on YouTube for my YouTube memberships. And I want to remind everybody, it's not woo-woo. It's true. And maybe this is the year that you step into it a little bit more strongly, a little bit more bold, because you've decided to be exactly who you are. And I would be so honored if you let me be the teacher to that aspect of you. Take care, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye.